Good day and welcome back to the channel. Today we're exposing a dangerous truth, one hidden beneath or buried beneath official talking points, and somewhat what I call today soft media coverage. The United States has said it's killed more than 80 people at sea and recently seized a Venezuelan oil tanker to stop fentanyl. But fentanyl does not come from Venezuela. But here's the reality. US drug authorities say the overwhelming majority, US drug authorities, not some hearsay, the overwhelming majority of fentanyl reaching the US is produced by Mexican cartels using precursor chemicals from China. Venezuela is not identified as a significant fentanyl source. Before we accept the explanation being given for what happened involving Venezuela, we have to test the logic behind it. The justification we have been told is simple. Drugs kill Americans, and therefore, extreme measures are necessary to stop them. So let's apply that standard consistently. Imagine an American citizen operating inside the United States or in US waters, knowingly transporting and selling drugs to other Americans. Drugs they know will kill Americans. Drugs that have already killed Americans. Under the logic being used by the US government against Venezuela, that person should be treated as a lethal national security threat. But that's not how America treats them. They're arrested, they are charged, they get lawyers, they get trials, they get plea deals, or in some instances, they may go to jail. What don't happen to them? They're not executed. They are not shot on sight. They are not eliminated in the name of saving lives. And yet, the harm is identical. Americans die either way. So the issue is not drugs. The issue is who is accused of carrying them. And when the accused is American, the law applies. When the accused is foreign, offshore, and powerless, the law disappears. That's not justice. That's selective enforcement disguised as national security. This hypocrisy is further exposed in that the same president pardoned the former president of Honduras, a known drug trafficker responsible for importing over 400 tons of cocaine into the US. Let that sink in. How do you justify killing suspects at sea without due process while freeing someone who helped poison an entire generation simply because it benefits your political agenda? And also, what should also be considered is they're foreigners, they're not US citizens, and they don't have a certain persuasion. This is not humanity. This is not morality. This is political usefulness disguised as righteousness. This is what I would deem to be uncivilized behavior. And once you see that double standard, the entire Venezuela narrative starts to unravel. Now let's think about this. And we're going to go into the concept of might makes right. The US condemns Russia for invading Ukraine, China for coercion in the South China Sea, and also for its intimidation of Taiwan. But now America uses military force against Venezuela to impose its will. Here lies the contradiction. Force is immoral when others use it. Force is justified when America uses it. That is not moral clarity. That is geopolitical hierarchy. What's the real motive behind the situation in Venezuela? Venezuela has the largest proven oil reserves in the world, larger than Saudi Arabia, larger than the US. For global oil companies, those reserves represent a colossal long-term profit opportunity. Maduro, the president of Venezuela, stands in the way. He nationalized oil resources, partnered with Russia, China, and Iran, who are deemed in many circles enemies of America, and blocked U.S. energy dominance. The U.S. response? Brutal sanctions. Sanctions that collapsed Venezuela's economy, destroyed its ability to sell oil, created hyperinflation, produced mass shortages, triggered mass migration, and helped to create the border crisis America now complains about. And here's the moral absurdity. America helped to break Venezuela's economy and now uses that same collapse as justification for even more intervention. This is not about fentanyl. This is about opening the world's largest oil reserve so America can access it and American oil companies can profit from it. Now let's do a parallel with Ukraine in some respects. America didn't start the Ukraine war, Russia did. But Ukraine is identified as having some of Europe's largest reserves of titanium and significant lithium and graphite deposits, all crucial for high-tech and defense industries. Whoever controls Ukraine's minerals controls the future of global power. US corporations know this. Wall Street knows this. The Pentagon knows this. So peace negotiations, which are ongoing, are not just a humanitarian act. They shape mining rights, reconstruction contracts, privatized infrastructure, corporate access. Under Trump, everything becomes transactional. Who pays? Who profits? Who gets the minerals? So these negotiations will not necessarily be done in Ukraine's favor. Trump would want it to be expeditious, get done right away, so he can get this deal over the line. The pattern is unmistakable. In Venezuela, the moral excuse is fentanyl. But the target, don't get it twisted, is oil. No different from the Iraq war in the 90s. In Ukraine, the moral excuse is saving lives and democracy. But the real target for Trump is lithium and rare earth minerals. One hemisphere, two crises, one motive. When corporate interests demand access, morality becomes optional. Now let's talk about the media and their role is this. Because the media is always viewed to be the guardian of society and the guardian of information and the guardian of morality in a lot of respects. The media is not silent. They report, they ask questions, they follow routines. But here's the problem. The traditional media, their emotional neutrality shields the powerful. When journalists present extraordinary violence and situation, like what happened in the sea of 80 persons being killed without due process, in calm voices, when the seizing of tankers in Venezuelan tanker sounds routine, they give the government what it needs most, the illusion that nothing abnormal is happening. When you're calm, when you're not outraged, when you're not disgusted, when you're not coming across the camera with disdain or it's heard in your voice, then you're normalizing something which is abnormal. Neutral becomes silent approval, even though that made it with intention. Information becomes normalization. Neutrality becomes complicity. This is a president and an administration without restraint. We see a clear pattern of loyalty over competence, punishment of dissent, rewarding sycophants, using pardons for geopolitical leverage, treating entire nations as bargaining chips, reducing global crises to business deals. His message is very simple. We are powerful. I am the authority. I want your resources. I want my way, and we will get it either via negotiation or force. It's your choice. This is not diplomacy. This is transactional authoritarianism. Now, we do have some enablers. In the US, Congress is paralyzed. There's so much division between Democrats and Republicans. We can't get anything agreed, and the Republicans just does whatever he says. The Supreme Court has become compromised and has expanded executive powers. The only thing it's supreme in is giving Trump his way. Corporations profit quietly and they cater to him. We have some media pushback, but this is tempered because they fear his retribution. All of those parties are normalizing a dangerous new normal. Now, the question that needs to be asked is, where is the humanity and where is the moral compass? People have asked, has America lost its moral compass? But others, more quietly, are asking something deeper. Did America truly have one? Did America ever truly have one? Or was it always hiding behind a moral mask, which has been unmasked by someone who just doesn't care what you think or what the world thinks? For a decade, America sold the world an image of itself as a peacemaker, defender of democracy, champion of human rights. But behind the curtain, it actually was something else. Coups, sanctions, regime change, resource extraction, proxy wars, covert operations, all carried out beneath the banner of morality. So the uncomfortable question becomes, is Trump an exception? Or is he simply exposing what America always did? Only now without the polish, the diplomacy, or, frankly, the disguise. Trump doesn't hide the motive. He says it openly. You want the oil, you want the minerals, they must pay. Trump is not inventing a new America. Trump is inventing the old America without the mask. A compass always points north unless it's broken. America now points wherever profit leads and where it resides. Now, when I look at this, I'm always looking for comparative and analogies, and one jumps out at me. And I'm always looking for things like hypocrisy. And here's the hypocrisy almost no one is talking about. America blames Mexico, Colombia, the Venezuela, and the Caribbean for drugs flowing through its borders. But what about weapons flowing south? Because the guns tearing apart Latin America, Mexico, the Caribbean, overwhelmingly comes from the USA. US manufactured guns fuel gang violence, destroy economies, destabilize governments, kill thousands annually, and create migration crisis, which the US is now trying to fight and counter. So let's ask, if America claims the right to kill people at sea because the drugs they smuggle kills Americans, should Latin America and the Caribbean and Mexico claim the same right to sanction the US because American guns kill their people? The logic is identical. The outrage is not. This hypocrisy is on an hemispheric scale. If America continues using false narratives, weaponizing sanctions, destroying economies, exporting guns, seizing foreign property, pursuing resources on a moral disguise, then power replaces principle, and the world becomes profoundly unsafe. Once morality becomes optional, everything becomes permissible. So what are my final thoughts? America once appears to primarily lead with moral authority, and I use the word appears because I mentioned what it does behind the scenes. Today, it leads unquestionably and overtly with force, sanctions, and corporate ambitions. And when a nation abandons morality, real or disguised, when truth becomes flexible, when neutrality becomes complicit, the world becomes much more dangerous, not just for others, but for America itself. I am not asking you to take my side. I'm asking you to see the world clearly. Because the moment we normalize this behavior, the consequences will echo far, far beyond Venezuela and far beyond this moment in time. If you have not done so previously, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Peace out.